What, is there something I should be looking at on here? Um,
Go to your display. System, display. Oh, we're there in display, so scroll down here to advanced display settings. Electronics 2. There's a setting where you can tell it to identify. Oh yeah. Detect. It doesn't even see it.
Okay. Calling to order. Is my microphone on? Okay. Calling to order the Parowan City Council meeting for July 27th, 2023. It is 6:01 p.m. I would like to welcome you out tonight and appreciate you being here as we engage in the business of the city. I've asked Steve Decker, former mayor and city historian, to give our opening prayer and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, as we meet before thee this evening as community members in the city council, we are grateful for the blessings that we have in living in this community. We are grateful for the blessings we have in living in this country and having the political system that we do, where we can talk about things and visit about things and share ideas. We are grateful for this great republic that thou hast given us. We are grateful for the city council members, for their willingness to serve, and for the staff that are here this evening that are serving also in this city. We ask thy blessings to be upon those that will participate in this evening, that all will be well, that ideas will be exchanged in a proper manner, that things will be discussed and decided in a manner that is pleasing unto the members of this community and that shows a great respect for this system. We are grateful to thee for all of that. We give thee thanks in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
If you'll please stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Steve.
thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, do we have any conflicts from the city council or any personal interest in any of the agenda items?
No, Mayor.
No, Mayor.
Okay, and now on approval of the meeting's agenda, I do have an adjustment to make to the agenda. I had not been able to speak voice to voice to Yetta Mortensen. She did want to be on hold or on Zoom or something, and she finally did just respond that she would prefer that we adjust this item to August 10th so that she can be sure and be available for that discussion by phone. So that with that change, I need an approval of this meeting's agenda unless there are other changes that need to be made.
Mayor, real quick, Callie, did we get that stuff for the fee schedules?
I'm sorry?
Did we get the stuff for the fee schedules? I never.
That's, yeah, I haven't seen it.
Table. Okay.
So we need to remove that item, or?
Well, so, and Callie and I discussed this because we literally just got the rest of what we needed today. And so I figured that we could look at it. Certainly didn't want you guys to feel rushed without time to have looked at it. So we can either table it or we can discuss it and give you time and vote on it next time or whatever works. Callie and I discussed that. She's like, should we just table it? And I was like, let's just ask the council whatever they want to do.
I think we need
Quiet.
It is quiet. I think we're having some problems with the equipment. I'm can't see anything wrong, but we're not getting audio or video right, and clearly this is not very loud either, so I'm not sure
Can
what's
you
going
hear
on.
us in the audience? Okay. All right. Thank you. So just pay attention to talking closer than
Well,
usual, maybe.
without seeing it, I don't wanna vote on it.
Okay. So the two changes would be, moving that item to August 10th and also moving work meeting item number 10 to August 10th.
Don't we need to do a table? Don't we need to do a motion on a work meeting, an action meeting, an action item?
Well, can we just move it from action to work meeting for tonight?
Well, no, 'cause we can't work on it. We have nothing to work with.
Yeah.
Or are you gonna present it?
I'm not ready. Callie has something that we can pull up in front of you on your screen so we can look at it. But you won't have, you'll be looking at it just green, so it's up to you guys.
I think we just leave it, and when we get to it, we table it.
Okay, there you go.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with those adjustments, or that adjustment to item number 10.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve tonight's agenda with the removal of the discussion on, work meeting number 10.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now moving into public comments. This time has been set aside for the public to express their ideas, concerns, and comments, and those will be limited to 2 minutes per person.
Heather is handing out agendas since we don't have it up on.
I just want to take a moment this evening, I won't take long, but I wanted to thank the council. I know that a lot of people ask council for things, and they ask the council for money, and they ask the council for variances, and if they ever get those, they never come back and say thank you. I want to come in and thank the council for the budget money that was given to the arts program this year. We had our open house a week ago tonight. I will pass this out, just so that you can kind of see what's happened. I don't need to necessarily do that here, I can put that here electronically. But I wanted to come tonight and say thank you for this. We had our open house a week ago, we had 39 people there. It was tonight that the play opened. Also, it's summer and people are on vacations and doing things, so we thought that 40 people at an open house for an arts program in a city the size of Parowan was a pretty good turnout. The year is planned. It is planned based on the responses from the survey that was sent out. About 40% of what we do this year will be scapes, landscapes, farmscapes, streetscapes, those kind of things. And the rest of them will be farmed out toward things. We'll do a still life night, we'll do a watercolor night for illustration, we'll do a human figure drawing night, we'll do a night with clay, and we'll have a founders dinner in January, close to Parowan's birthday, where we'll have a demonstration and then just have people who are interested come and be with us for that evening. I wanted to thank you for that. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Some of you were able to make it to the open house, others had other commitments, and we understand that. But I wanted to just stand and express my appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
All right then, moving along. Now we will start our consent meeting. These items are usually approved by one motion and are administrative in matter. We have item 6, which is approval of the city council meeting minutes for June 22nd. And item number 7, which is the approval of the warrant register for 7/27/2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent meeting agenda, items 6 and 7.
I'll-
Go ahead.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now moving into our action meeting, item number 8.
Mayor,
Yes.
I make a motion that we table the approval of the 2024 fee schedule until August 10th.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now moving to item number 9, the Dawson Property Zone Change, Ordinance 2023-07-01.
Good evening, Dallas Buckner, Go Civil. We have a zone change request before you this evening. We went back and forth a couple of times with Planning Commission, but the document that we prepared and brought to council is the one that received approval. This is out on Old Highway 91, and the zone change request, we have two different ones where we're zone changing to R1 and then to R3, and that's based on the future land use map that the city has.
So, Dallas, on that, we actually went back through and looked at the motion from the minutes,
Okay?
and the actual motion was the 3 parcels that the hotel sits on, going to R3, and that was
Yes.
favorable.
Yep.
And the other one was, I was questioning myself, and that's why I asked Callie, and Judy's gone, but we went back and looked at the minutes, whether it would go to R1 or stay A1. The effect on that parcel, if you're building for residential purposes, is negligible. It's literally the same, because A1 just refers to R1 for a building residence. And the actual motion says, that was passed favorably, unanimously, I believe, by the Planning Commission, was that the 3 parcels would go to R3 and the other one would be just left
As A1.
as A1.
Okay.
So that's what actually passed, in Planning Commission, so.
Okay. But it sounds like from the ordinance standpoint, the comparison between A1, R1,
Yeah.
they refer to each other as far as the building requirements.
Exactly.
Okay.
If they're gonna build a house, A1 just looks at R1 and that says, go look there for building a residence.
Okay.
So with
So
that,
that's the way it's written in the ordinance that you're looking at.
okay.
Is actually, it doesn't refer to the 4th parcel, it just refers to the 3.
3 parcels that have the, okay.
So we're just addressing the 3 parcels and that other one is just being left in A1.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause that was my question, because I was wondering what happened, 'cause I know we threw that back and forth, and the Plan Commission did not, recommend, they recommend the others as R3 and then left that alone.
Yeah, and I just couldn't remember whether it was gonna go R1 or stay as A1, and I went back and forth and looked, and finally we just went through the minutes and looked at the actual motion and what was passed, and that's what it was.
But I thought there was an addendum to their application that came to council.
I think we made a modification to the map based on the Planning Commission recommendation that went to council.
That's right. Because the reason is because the application had all 4 going to R3.
Correct, we
So
didn't
in the
realize-
meeting, it was, would they be willing to go forward with 3 of them going to R3 and the other one staying? And they said, yes, they would be friendly to that, and then that's why that motion was that. So the addendum was so that when it came to public hearing, which it already did in this body, that it would be for those 3 going to R3. And the public hearing is all that happened, but that's what's already happened in this body.
So the one was never identified as going to R1. That, from A1.
I don't believe so, but what I know is the motion that was unanimously passed by Planning Commission was that the 3 would go and the other one would be left alone.
Right. But I just remember that addendum application coming to council.
Yep. That was just to take that 4th one off of the R3 designation.
Okay.
And we had wrongly thought that 4th parcel was also future land use to R3. And then upon reviewing the map again, the line, the distinction in the future land use map is with the 3 that have the hotel on it, and then the one to the east is the R1,
Right.
so.
basically A1 evolves to R1, I mean, if you were in an evolution process, so. I mean, they identify each other as far as building. One refers to the other.
So is this a regular motion and a vote, or is there a roll call required?
It's a roll call.
Okay, so with that being said, is there any other council discussion?
Is that what you intend and that's satisfactory to you?
Yes, from a zoning standpoint, we were just trying to bring it into conformance, and we felt like the change specifically on the 3 parcels with the hotel, anything was better than just having it as Ag 1. And so I think making the modification to those 3 is great. If council, based on the planning commission recommendations, wants to keep the 4th parcel as Ag 1 and those kind of reciprocate
Right.
then I think that's satisfactory.
That's agreeable, you leave that one in A1.
Yeah, in fact, because it is such a small parcel, R1 is really what it's going to be in effect.
Yeah.
You couldn't do a lot of the things you could in agricultural on such a small parcel. So residential, it just says look at R1, and that's what we use for our setbacks, that's what we use for everything building related.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2023-07-01.
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor, starting with
Roll call.
Councilman Shirtliff?
Councilman Shirtliff, aye.
Magdale, aye.
Sharon Downey, aye.
David Burton, aye. I was looking for somebody else, I'm sorry.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, motion carries.
Dallas.
Okay, now moving out of our action meeting into our work meeting, we are to item 11, which is reports, updates, old business follow-up by elected officials and staff. And we will start with David Burton.
Okay, let's see, the Meeks Pond, Justin Daly informed me that they did get the bubbler system hooked up for those trees, so that there is some water for those trees on the front that I think it was Ron Roth that planted. So we had that. The planning and zoning met, they discussed tiny homes. Basically just discussed it, that's whether, I guess the city wants to have them, whether they want to integrate them in the city, want to have a separate place for them, or whether not to have them at all. And I think that, probably it'd be good to have a presentation to the city so you the council, so you understand what they're discussing when they say tiny homes. 'Cause that could be a misunderstanding, so. And,
Tiny homes, that's just a fancy name for a sheep camp, isn't it, David?
Could be.
That's, yeah, tinker carts.
Okay. I think, let's see, the Shade Tree Committee didn't meet, I think. And I'm sure you're all aware, the pool's open, going, and it's great. It was a great day for the grand opening on Monday, and things seem to be evolving there. I'm sure Dan will have more to say, but it's been well used, and I think people are very happy, and I think it was a great, thing. I don't think there's any more to say there.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for Rochelle too. We did not have a power board meeting, so I have nothing really to report.
Thank you.
I didn't have a power board meeting either, so. But also, I wanna kinda give a shout out if it's okay with, there's a couple people that have been kind of helping out with the city, and I just to kind of recognize them a little bit. Frank Showers and Ron Clayton have come to us, and Frank Showers he's a retired firefighter, correct? Yes, and so they've come and they're helping out the fire department and the water crew with the fire hydrants, and they have I don't know what the update is now, but I think that, last update I got is about 75 fire hydrants. They go back and check them and flow meter them and just maintenance on them and stuff like that. It really helps, you know, 'cause the city workers and the fire department doesn't have time to do it, and they found 3 not working, and so they're continue just doing that and stuff, so I like to recognize them, so.
Thank you. And thank
Anything
you.
you wanna add, or,
Dan, were you gonna discuss the good news on the airport?
But go ahead if you would like.
No, you,
Okay.
you
Yeah, I
do.
got it on my list.
Anyway, we got good news on the airport, and Dan will explain that. We also had a Historical Preservation Committee meeting. We had 3 applicants. Rachel Hawkins from the Life Quest Girls Academy came in, to get approval for the changes on the roof and the landscape. That was approved. We also had a, presentation by Tinks. They're getting the old Fads building up and running. They came in with a request for new signage, matches all of the Tinks around the state and Mesquite. That was also approved, and Parowan City came, Larry came with a presentation of what was taking place at the pool. That was approved as well. That's all that I have. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you.
One thing I think Councilman Shirtler the veteran should be recognized for the dedication, that flagpole at the pool. That was a great ceremony and an addition there at the pool, so.
Very nice.
They did a very good job.
We had to set old Claude down. He couldn't stand up, so we had to have a chair for him. But thank you.
At least you didn't let him shoot.
no, we didn't have it. We Barney Fifed it. We got the bullets in our pockets. We don't lie.
And we are gonna be installing a light that'll be on that flag.
She came and talked to me about that. That was
So we don't have to go through the motions every day and.
every day. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm looking at somebody in the audience who writes articles. I did send everything about that to the Cedar News. I'm hoping that they'll write an article about that flagpole and who donated it and why it was donated, to the officer who was lost and their family.
Was that Cedar or St. George?
Well, St. George News, but they do the Cedar City News on the website too, and I know Miss Janelle would probably maybe write an article. It was incredibly moving. Cooper, and I'm gonna get his last name wrong. Mount, had actually, when he was alive and as an Eagle Scout, he did a project on the front of the pool. He had updated it, did some painting and some work on it for his Eagle project. And so as we were getting ready to tear down the walls, or at least remove the top half and the old pool sign that was on the walls, somebody was like, you know, wait, he painted these, we have to preserve them. He didn't actually paint those, and the family was like, no, that's fine, go ahead, you know, take them down. But they wanted to do something to honor him, and I couldn't think of anything more fitting than a flagpole with a U.S. flag. And so I agree that the whole ceremony was beautiful. Cheryl, his aunt, brought me to tears. I think I don't have any tears left because of my past couple weeks, but it was very moving, and it was just a really great thing. So just to honor him, maybe we can get a plaque or something.
She had some plaques on the flagpole itself, says honoring veterans, so it was nice of her to, and the Mounts to invite us and give us the privilege of doing that.
And I don't know if I said it, but he was killed in combat. That's why it is so meaningful.
Yeah. In Syria.
In Syria, yep. Okay, my turn. So the runway project, what, Jim was referring to, we have been, holding our breath, almost literally. We've been working for, some time on this project. 2023, summer 2023 is when we're gonna do this massive runway rehabilitation that is literally grinding down and rebuilding the new runway from scratch. Large, multi-million-dollar project, that's 95% paid for with grants, 90% roughly from the FAA, 5% from UDOT, Utah's airport division of UDOT, and then of course the difference being made up from city funds. And we got all ready to go. We've discussed it many times in airport board and in this meeting. Went through all the paperwork, all the red tape, which you'll just get drowned in. And we were ready to, we went through the contracting process, and we awarded the contract and ready to go, and no money from the FAA. They said, wait, we don't have the money yet, and just federal government type stuff. So we have been waiting to find out that they actually have the money, knowing that if we hit August 15th with no money, we've literally passed a line in the sand. That introduces a litany of problems. So we've been just very quietly holding our before we get across that deadline and found the money. I won't even go into the details of it, and that we're back on and have sent out final payment like tomorrow. The mayor can sign, that's been authorized already by the council, and we will be off to the races. We have a calendar item of August 16th to actually, we have it on the 9th, and close the runway and close the airport August 16th for construction. And I can't remember how many weeks. It was like 3 weeks, wasn't it?
No, it's more than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
There was, and we'll bring details about it, but that is the start date of actual construction when they'll close the runway. So really good, because we really, if we would have gone past that date, we would have been in a pinch, because the contractor bid it based on this year's prices and all of